raised in a Christian home. A lot of people who meet me assume that I kind of grew up in church or, you know, kind of even knew God, but that's not even the case. I only recall going to church one time, and that was with my grandmother. And I had to be like all of 6, maybe 5. I remember being a little girl because I remember the white dress that I wore. And you know the little ruffled socks that you have? I remember having those on. And I remember she gave me like this cute little teddy bear necklace that I thought was so cute. So yeah, I remember going to church with my grandma in North Philly. But I really didn't grow up in church and really didn't even know God at all. From 5 and 6 to like elementary school, I was a tomboy. I grew up around 4 boy cousins. And we were very, very close. Like, we all lived together in the same house. I'm looking at my mirror, y'all. I'm sorry. I used to hang out with them a lot as a kid. And I would always be, like, playing basketball with them. I would always be, you know, roughhousing with them. Going outside with them. The crazy part, to just jump right into it, the crazy part of me being a tomboy is because of the lack of, I guess it's so embedded into my personality now that I am a tomboy, but because we didn't have money, I would find different ways to be like stylish. I always wanted to be like super feminine, like dress super feminine, like, you know, things like that. But because we didn't really have the money to, I didn't. So being a tomboy, it was always basketball shorts handy. I lived with 4 boys. It was always white beaters handy. Like, you know what I mean? So that kind of just became my comfort. And then I just grew into that. It's so funny, right? Because I'm telling you that, but I'm doing makeup right now like crazy. Yeah, so that became my comfort. Like, my aunt used to curl my hair before. I hated when she curled my hair. I never wanted her to curl my hair. Like, I would take my hair out and do my hair in 2 braids on my way to school on the bus. Like, I hated when she would do that. Like, why would you ever? And 2 braids was like my thing. Like, I would just wear basketball shorts, wear white beaters, and 2 braids. And always be at the basketball court with my cousins. Like, so, yeah, it became very, very, it became like very, very my, like, I don't know, it became very, very normal. My living situation wasn't the best. We didn't really have financial means for you to be able to dress accordingly to how you wanted. It was what it was. You had to get in where you fit in. And that's how honestly I accumulated that style. But I always admired girls who were like super feminine and like you know what I mean? That was something that was always a thing to me. I thought was so cute. But unfortunately, we didn't have the financial means for me to do that. I would have probably stayed dressing like a tomboy though. But when I went to high school, when I first went to high school in 9th grade, there was, I remember I was in, what is it called? Is it called homeroom? When your first period? I was in this, like, I guess it's the class before you go to other classes. That's called homeroom, right? I think. I don't know what it was, but it was before my first period. So I was in class and I used to wear my cousins, because all of us went to Frankfurt. I used to wear my cousins like hand-me-down uniforms to keep it a buck. Like, I dressed like a boy and I didn't want my clothes to be super tight. So I would wear their uniform. After this, I never wore their uniform ever again. So when I first went to first period, he was like, this guy walked up to me. He was like, hey, like, my friend is feeling you. Like, you know what I mean? You think you'll be interested. Da-da-da. So I'm thinking, you know, who is it? Who feeling me? Who feeling the kid? You know what I mean? Period. Period. Like, no. Who feeling me? I'm like, who you talking about? I turn around and it's a girl. To my surprise, to my shock, to behoove, say no. But to my surprise, I turned around and it was a girl, and I said, I said, I don't like girls. I like boys. And I was thinking, I could understand. I wasn't even offended. I was thinking, I understand how they got there. Like, because of my clothes. I'm wearing baggy clothes. I got 2 braids in. Of course, I look like, you know what I mean? Like, of course. So, you know, kindly, I just declined and kindly rejected. And yeah, I went straight home immediately. Not like right after that, but after school, I went straight home and told my aunt, like, yeah, somebody thought I was gay. I need new uniforms. I need to do my hair. I can't do this anymore. I can't, And so, you know, she did. We went to we went to Foreman Mills, most likely. Got me some khaki pants, more fitted pants, and I started dressing like that. So yeah, I started to kind of get girly, and you know, honestly, as the high school went on, I became even more, I wouldn't necessarily say like feminine in how I talk, because I'm ghetto, like, so it didn't become like a classy type of feminine. It just ghetto, and you know what I mean. Just more so in like getting into, you know, not really wearing makeup, but just like getting my lashes done, and what else? Get my lashes done and get my nails done, and then that was pretty much it. So that's sort of kind of like high school scene. Even in that high school scene, that's when I started ripping and running North Philly. Okay, that's when me and my cousin used to be outside. Like, we used to be drunk. That was around kind of like my partying scene. Now, granted, in high school, there still was no God. Like, nobody ever still came to me and was like talking about God, knew about God, anything like that. Like, nobody ever came and was saying, introduced me to God in high school. I still was going around, didn't know nothing about God. I was just living, like, you know? So in high school, still was no God. It wasn't until after high school because I went to trade school. When I was in trade school, my cousin Omar started going to this church, Fellowship Revival, Church of Love, you know what I mean? That's my home church now, but my cousin Omar started going to this church, and it wasn't really like, you know, church. I really wasn't paying attention to it. It wasn't really like a thing for me. Like, he just was going there. I knew that one of my friends, Denzel, my best friend, my cousin Omar and Denzel was really cool. So they would, like, you know, go to church or whatever. And one time I just like decided that I wanted to go with Omar. Now this is like after high school. So I'm like all of what, 18, 19 maybe. So it wasn't that far at the high school, but I was still like young. Like, so one time Omar was going to church, and I just asked him, like, yo, because, you know, like I said, me and Omar and him was tight. So I was like, wanting to hang out with my cousin. I just went to visit the church one day. And I remember having on this like type shirt that I thought was, now looking back at it, I realized it was inappropriate for church because my bra was like out. But nobody said nothing to me. Like, they just let me allow me to get the word. Like, nobody came and, like, you know how churches can be like, well, the stereotype of churches is they like, baby, cover up, or you can't come in here with that on, or da-da-da-da. Like, it wasn't that for me. Like, I think that's part of the reason why I also stayed. Like, that shirt was inappropriate. And I remember, like, thinking, like, oh, snap. Like, nobody said nothing to me. Like, nobody came up to me and made me feel uncomfortable or made me feel rude. They was very polite and kind. Like, so, you know, fast forward as the years go on, I was kind of in and out. I never really stayed, but I kind of like was in and out of the church. I would be like totally like in and out. Like, I wouldn't really stay. Like, granted, I have had moments where me and Omar would talk about God, and I remember first watching Passion of Christ, and I remember crying. Like, how could they do that to him? Like, mind you, I ain't even really know God like that, but I was just so upset. Like, why they do my man? Like, they ain't had to do him like that. They did him dirty, and all he wanted to do was just love them. Like, I remember crying. But so yeah, so I would be kind of like in and out of the church. I would come in, not really stay, listen to the word. Wasn't really listening, but just like there, like it was like a social gathering, I guess. A few years go by, I'm in and out of the church, and I'm working at Walmart. Walmart was cool. I was chilling, like I was chilling, like it was cool. But I like this guy. I had like this guy there, and Fast forward, he wound up becoming my boyfriend. Because, the old me used to get what I want. And that's not really a good thing. Because I would get what I want by not fully being who I was. By portraying a certain type of image of what, I thought he would like. Or, you know how us girls can be. We can be manipulative. Like, so let me say this. I was being myself, like being honest about where I was, but it was like certain things you just don't share. Like in the beginning, you don't really know them all that well. But I finesse, and he became my boyfriend. And granted, at the time, I shouldn't have had a boyfriend because I was not necessarily happy. This was around the time where I was kind of feeling suicidal, wasn't really feeling like I was connecting with any of my family members. And I kind of felt like no one really understood me. And I didn't have like parents to kind of coach me into becoming a woman, or coach me into, coach me into just like understanding myself and loving on myself for who I am. And it just became a lot. Like I just became overwhelmed. I became very suicidal, and I felt like I really didn't have no reason to live. Like I really didn't have a reason to live. Like, but every day I would get up and do it. And I also had this one friend who one time I just remember like talking to her, because I remember really thinking like, I don't know if I could do this like life thing. Like, I don't know if I could really do this. And she was like, she probably don't even know to this day. I don't know if I told her ever, but sis saved my life. But she told me like, we not quitters. Like, you're not a quitter, so we not about to quit. Like, and I don't know why, but that shifted my whole everything. Like, I'm not a quitter. I'm not about to quit. The devil, I just want to say this. I want to say this. Like, the devil will try to place that into your mind because he know that you will bring a lot of souls to Christ. That you will do wonderful things in your life. Like, that the plans and the purposes that God had for you is going to be greater. And he wants you to stop that. So that's why he wants you to try to end it right then and there. Because I know, if I don't know anything, I know that the pain I'm going through is not just for nothing. I pray to God that it's not just for nothing. That like that is going to be used for the greater good of God's kingdom. Like, it's going to be used to give him glory. And that's what I'm going to do, like, with my life. That's all I really want to do, is give God glory with every part of me. So that's like, I feel like that's one of the reasons, like, if he try to get you to commit suicide and make you end it right then and there, then the souls that you were going to save, you never reach. I'm grateful that she told me that, because it kind of shifted that. It shifted how I was feeling, like, and I just like, you right, I'm not a quitter, and I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Fast forward to my boyfriend. So we kind of went through a horrible breakup. And it was very, very hard for me. And I really didn't know. Like I said, I don't have parents that I can, like, go to and talk about what's going on with me and get wise counsel or get wise instructions. So, like, from this time, I've been going to church as, like, for a little bit. So, from this time on, I kind of know, like, you can go to God. Like, I don't really know nothing else. But I know you can go to God. And that at that time, it was just God. It was like, okay, let me go to God and see what he could do, if he could help, or if he could do anything. Like, because the way the situation occurred, kind of felt like powerless. Like, it's nothing we could do. So I would just go to church. And I remember me and Denzel would actually just go to church together. And I remember, like, it just started making sense. Like, things that my apostle now would be saying would just be clicking. Like, it would be like, it correlated with my life. And I was like, oh snap, like, is God real? Like, is this real? Like, how he know? Like, how he know, or how he's speaking to where I'm at right now? Like, and I just kept going. I kept going. And once, this also saved my salvation as well. is I remember having those thoughts after I was going. Now I was going for like a couple months or so, right? And I remember having the thought like, it's like I was starting to doubt, like, is God real for real, or am I in the wrong religion? Like, am I doing this wrong? And I also was feeling like what I should do in my life. And I had got one of the first prophecies in my life, like Miss Ashika and gang. She had prophesied into my life, and she was telling me that it was like she just kind of read my thoughts. And I remember I did not share these thoughts with nobody. I just kind of was thinking them in my head, like, and she was like, you feeling like, is this the right religion? And I was like, oh, how she know? Hold on. Like, now, the reason why I say I didn't share this with nobody, because I did talk to people in the church. So I feel like if I was to tell one of my friends, one of my girlfriends, and then they were to tell her, then it'd be like, okay, I said this to somebody. Maybe somebody said something to her, and that's why she's saying it. But the fact that I know for a fact that I did not say anything to anyone, and that she just kind of picked it up, I was like, oh snap, God is real. And then that was it. I took off from there. It was like, God real. If you don't give your life to Christ, you going to hell. And I was like, and a lot of my people was like, yo, she's very radical, like very out there. And I was in the wrong type of way, because the Bible said he who wins souls is wise, and nothing about what I was doing was wise. But it was the right message though. Like, give your life to Christ. I know people who are struggling. I know people who deal with real life stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like real life issues, like out here in the street, like living outside. Like, I had friends who was homeless. Like, you know, like, I understand. So it was like, yo, give your life to Christ. Like, he real. He out here. He can help you. He out here. You like, you know what I mean? I said he out here twice, but you know what I mean? He out here, like, third time. So yeah, like, I was like, give your life to Christ. But that stage of my life, I'm also grateful for, but I was very religious. Very religious. I was used to working for love. Like, as I mentioned, I didn't have parents, so I had parental figures, but they wasn't like really doing their job. Like, not their job. I mean, they fed us, they gave me a crib to lay in, so that's their job. But I feel like anything emotional or anything like that will help me like living life, like, and it's not their fault, because I don't really feel like they really had any tactics or anyone to help them. But I'm not really feeling my eyebrows right now. But yeah, so my cousins were like the people that I would go to and who would kind of instruct me on what I needed to do. So I would kind of be like doing things that would like make them love me. Like, they would say things like, you better not be out there being a thought. Like, you better not be out there being like all these other girls, or da-da-da-da. Because if you is, like, it was kind of given like, because if you is, I'm going to disown you. They never said that, but that's what it was given. Like, if you is, I'm going to disown you. Like, you better not be out here being a thought. All these other girls out here being a thought, da-da-da-da. And that was my main thing. Like, no, I'm not out here doing that. I'm not out here, like, I'm not out here, like, you know what I mean? I'm like saving myself. I want to be in love. I want to be da-da-da-da, like always pleading my case. And that kind of led me onto that whole being religious thing. God is a good God, but I always felt that I had to live, well, let me say this, because you do got to live a certain type of way, but I felt like it became more works than grace. It was a lot more works. Like, I felt like I had to pray for an hour straight. Like, I had to fast 21 days. I had to, like, I had to do all these things. And it was like, bro, like, God just called you for you. But I didn't get that at the time. I was just trying to make sure that he would not leave me, or that he would love me. Like, so my camera just died. Yeah. I mean, it didn't die. It overheated. Like, when the world is that? And I also tried a purple lip. So what y'all think about this? I normally do pink, but I tried purple today. What you think? Let me know. But so I believe I was ending the video, so I just kind of want to end it. Let me first say this. If anyone is struggling with suicide or depression, or if anyone is struggling with any of those type of thoughts, I am definitely going to put the hotlines in this video. Please contact someone. Your life has purpose. Your life has purpose, and it is a reason that you are here. God has a purpose for your life. Get to know him if you don't know him. Trust me, it's a different type of peace. It's a different type of love that you will feel. Like, he will place you with people who love you unconditionally. I am one of them people. I am healing. I am learning myself. I am growing. I am trying to be better every single day. But I have people that God has placed in my life that love me unconditionally for things that have nothing to do with works. I don't work for it. They just simply love me. Girl, boy, reach out to me. I will love you unconditionally. I will love you, okay? Reach out if you are struggling. Definitely call one of them hotlines if you deal with suicide. I am pretty and faithful, aka Shay. You know what I mean? Welcome to the channel. We are loving on each other. We are growing in God. We are learning more about God, and we are loving on ourselves on this channel. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and stay locked into the channel. Bye.